For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chane Carter. I am a financial educator and the founder of Empower Financial Planning. I want to help you figure out what you make, what you spend, and what you owe so you can be intentional about your money. I did a video a little while ago that mentioned my personal philosophy of investing, but it's not my own personal philosophy. It's actually a philosophy of John Bogle, the founder or one of the founders of Vanguard, and they call themselves Bogleheads. Essentially, they have the idea that you should only need 3 mutual funds to have a completely diversified, easy to manage investment portfolio. So let me break all of that down. Diversified, it means that you have looked at large companies, small companies, companies in tech, companies in utilities, companies in healthcare, and you have a nice round mixture of the types of companies that you are invested in, right? So if you are the type that wants to invest in individual stocks, it means you're not weighted heavily by one type of stock, one size company, one company itself. You wouldn't want to have 100% of Sears stock because Sears/Kmart went out of business. So if you owned all their stock, you would be broke right now. You would want to have a diversified portfolio with retail plus food plus healthcare plus technology. I achieved this, and the Bogleheads achieved this through mutual funds and specifically index funds. An index follows what a market does. For example, the S&P 500 is a basket of stocks that we use to figure out what the market is doing. So the index is actually like a basket, like a shopping basket of stocks where we say, oh, if this basket of stocks went up, the rest of the market went up too. Like we're just using that as a benchmark. Well, an index fund follows the benchmark. And Bogleheads believe in following or investing in just the index funds. So I'm going to give you the 3 funds that the Bogleheads recommend. And you should know that these are Vanguard funds, but you can get them from any brokerage firm, any brokerage house, and you can get something similar from almost any retirement fund. So whether you have access to the Vanguard account, or whether you have a Fidelity brokerage account, or whether you're investing through your retirement fund, there is an index fund that kind of matches the ones that I'm going to describe. So the first one, Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund. Just what it sounds like. It's an index fund, which means there's not people trading in and out of it. It's just following the market, which means that you're not paying fees for people to trade in and out of it. Their stocks aren't coming in and out. They're not trying to pick the hot stock. Index funds mean that they are following the market, right? So it's a total stock market fund, but you should know that it's following the total U.S. stock market. So it's not invested in funds that are out of the United States, but we'll get to that. The next fund is Vanguard Total International Stock Index Fund. So you know what that is. It's an international index fund. It is invested in stocks, which is companies, out of our country, out of the United States. And that is adding to your diversification, right? Because we know that as important as the United States is, there are other countries where lots of business is being done, and you want to be invested in those companies. So exposure to international funds or international company can come through this index fund. And the last fund that they recommend, the Vanguard Total Bond Market Fund. It's the bonds. It's the bond market. There are differing thoughts about how much exposure, which means how much investment you need in bond markets. But you should know that bonds are safe investment. In general, as far as the market is concerned, bonds are the safest investment. So if you're trying to grow wealth, they are not necessarily for growth. They are for stability and security. And based on where you are in life, that should dictate how much exposure you have to the bond market. But in the Boglehead portfolio, so in the Boglehead group of funds that they recommend bond exposure, total stock market, total U.S. stock market exposure, and total international fund exposure. Again, they only recommend index funds. You can Google Bogleheads, Bogleheads, and you will find tons of information. But essentially, they believe you only need 3 funds to have a great portfolio. And I just wanted to share that with you. I realized that somewhere along the line, you might have gotten the idea that I don't believe in investing in anything but the stock market, and I don't invest in anything but mutual funds. So let me clear that up. Number one, I don't have individual stocks. I'm not interested in picking individual stocks. I'm not interested in doing the research related to choosing individual stocks. But that doesn't mean it's a bad idea. That just means you have to do your research. And that's with anything with investing. I totally can understand why someone would want to choose an individual stock and invest. You might know about a company, learn about a company, have researched a company, and want to put your money behind a single company. That's cool. Make sure it's not where all your money is. That is not diversified. That's going to have you losing at some point. So that's number one. I never said don't invest in individual stocks. I said I don't invest in individual stocks. The second thing is, somewhere along the line, it came across that I only believe in investing in the stock market. I don't believe in investing in real estate or crypto or another business or any of those things. I didn't ever mean to imply that there aren't great investments that aren't in the stock market. There are lots of things you can invest in other than the stock market. I personally understand the stock market better than most things. So when it comes to investing in real estate, I'm a little more cautious than I am when I'm investing in the stock market. And that's because I personally understand and have more comfort with the stock market. But you might be more comfortable with the real estate market. You might have an interest in having rental property or commercial property or other types of real estate investment. I want you to understand that personal finance is personal, and the things I'm telling you are the things I do and I believe. That doesn't mean there's not something different for you. And that's kind of the whole point of my tagline. I want you to figure out what you make, what you spend, what you owe, so you can be intentional. Because what's right for me might not be right for you, but I need you to understand what you're doing with it and why you're doing it. Maybe you are super cool with running rental property. Maybe that's your thing. Well, I just need you to understand how to analyze that risk, compare it to other risks, the risks of investing in a business, or the risks of investing in the market, or the risks of investing in crypto. Understand the risks, understand what you have to lose and what you can't lose, and then make a decision. And that goes with anything: spending, debt, what you're making. You should understand and be able to analyze for yourself. And I seriously mean for yourself. Now, you may need some help analyzing the risk. You may need some help understanding where you are financially. You may want a coach for that, or someone like me to walk you through it. That's cool. But the idea is you understand yourself better than anyone else. You know what's making you spend. You know what's making you save. You know what your goals are. You know better than anyone else. I want us all to be able to understand what's right for us, and when people are telling us things that might not be right for us, be able to figure that out, know that it's not the thing, and go to the next thing. I don't think personal finance is hard. I think that we overwhelm ourselves with information. So I want to help us break it down and not make it so complicated. So I hope this helped. If you found it valuable, if you click like and subscribe, I would love that. And join us in the community. And I hope to see you there.